Hi, I'm Rick Anthony, and welcome to the Someone You Should Know podcast, the podcast that focuses on musicians, authors, and interesting people. We like to say we're making a difference one artist at a time. So sit back, have a cold one, and get ready to meet someone you should know. Today's podcast guest knew he was meant to perform since birth, probably, because he was a child actor back in the 1950s. He started playing the piano at the age of 6, and he never stopped. He shared the stage with musicians and artists like Bill Medley, Ike and Tina Turner, Little Richard, and Jose Feliciano, just to name a few. And he's got a Classis Hits album out now that we're going to talk about and feature some songs from it. Will you please welcome my friend Terry Lawrence? Terry, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Rick. Hi, everybody out there. Yes, I'm looking forward to our interview here.
Awesome, very good. In your bio, you said, as a little guy, I always asked my dad if I could be on TV. So he'd pick you up and put you on the television set, and that made you mad. But then he realized that you actually wanted to be on TV, so he signed you up with the Actors Screen Guild. How old were you when you started?
Yes, I'm 4.5 years old. I started as an actor. I started working as a modeling for Catalina Sportswear.
Oh, seriously? Wow. Okay. All right.
I was at the Ambassador Hotel with all the kids. Some of them were already actors. You know, James Cagney's son, a lot of different people at the time, and Jane North and Johnny Crawford. We were modeling at the Ambassador Hotel for Catalina Sportswear. I started with The Millionaire, where they pass out the checks. John W. Tipton, and I was in an orphanage. I guess my dad was trying to give me away after I told him I wanted to be on TV.
Well, that's just it. You have quite an interesting IMDb catalog. Why don't you give us a list of some of the interesting movies and TV shows that you appeared on?
Well, let's see. I was in Trooper Hook. When I was doing my organ lessons at 6, I got a call. Oh, actually, the first one was Dancing with Me, Henry, with Abbott and Costello. I was at an amusement park. There was a bunch of cops and robbers there that Abbott called, or Lou called and tried to get the cops there and everything. And I was a kid with a frying pan hitting them over the head. There was in a gang of kids, and there were a bunch of kids. I've never seen a midget before at the carnival and everything. And I was just kept looking at, wow, how can these little people be so little? Anyway, that was the first thing I was in. I graduated to a movie that I got called to be the little Indian boy that's been on for years. Stanwyck, Rae, Earl Holliman, a lot of top actors in that. We filmed part of that in Utah, but it was a great movie, long movie, and it was fun. I enjoyed meeting all these people. James Arness, we met all these people. And then I was in that movie, and then I was in The Lone Ranger the same year later on at an episode called Miss Aggie and the Law. That's on YouTube. All these are on YouTube. You can look.
It's amazing.
And see.
It's amazing.
I was on the Art Linkletter show. I did a string of commercials. I did Art Linkletter's House Party, which was a forerunner of Kids Say the Darndest Things. Yeah. And I used to do the Pillsbury commercials with biscuits and Franco-American spaghetti. I used to say, "What's for lunch, Mom? I'm starved." It was live TV. And the biscuits were terrible. They used to spray them to make them look good. They tasted horrible.
It's amazing what advertisers do to make their food look good. And it's like, well, that's glue and that's paint. It's like, well, you know, or they use
that stuff,
shoe polish and dye to make your turkey look like it's right out of the oven, Oh, geez.
Yeah, it looks good. Doesn't taste good. And then when it comes to peanut butter commercials, Laura Scudder's or the other peanut, if you do about 5 or 6 or 7 takes, you get that peanut butter stuck not only in the roof of your mouth and the back of your throat, and you're got milk, those were fun. Kern's Jams and Jellies, our Linkletter show, Kit Carson show, Ray Anthony's show with I sang with the Lennon Sisters on a combination of Ray Anthony and Lawrence Welk show.
Wow. Okay.
Had my grandparents come out. My grandfather from New Jersey came out. I met him once, and then he came out and was with my other grandpa. They were sitting in the row, and I guess they were beaming or something like that. But I had a crush on Janet, the youngest sister in the Lennon Sisters.
Yeah.
But I was then, but it was nice singing along with them and everything. I played these little Emily bells as keyboard keyboard back then. So I did a string of movies and commercials and TV things. And I was in AFTRA. Also, honorary withdrawal of AFTRA 1960. I still have my wrinkled green card in my wallet.
I was kidding with Terry because as of the date of this recording here, I actually get my first after retirement check, so I'm excited about that.
What a coincidence. I'd be too. Yeah.
Very good.
That's fabulous.
Now, you mentioned a name that I actually had interviewed at one point, Jay North, who was Dennis the Menace back in the day. And I'll never forget when we talked, he said how Hollywood basically chewed up and spit out the child actors and such. Did they treat you like that, or did you get treated pretty well?
I got treated pretty well. Some kids, if they had staged parents, some of these people had extensive movies and things that they were in and everything, so they probably had scheduling problems. But I did different things, and I never had any problem with that. I know Judy Garland, when she was a kid, they were giving amphetamines and all kinds of things, and the young rascal, the little rascals, all that stuff. So no, it was wonderful. The people. Good. Everything was great. I can't complain. And I did do that last thing with the Veronica Cartwright, that 61 Ford Fairlane commercial in Burbank. At the time, that was Angela Cartwright's older sister, Make Room for Daddy and Lost in Space. Veronica and I were the same age. So we did that commercial, and there weren't any parts for kids at that time from age 11 to 17 for some reason in 61. So I got out of music. I got out of acting and stuff, and she went back into it later on. So that was just pretty much. And then back then, the residuals and everything they only had for 2 years. So
You're kidding? Oh dear God, really?
Yeah, it was terrible. Terrible. I don't see all those royalties. Nothing. I made that movie with Barbara Stanwyck. I made some money off of that. I bought my first keyboard, a Hammond organ, and I was taking lessons at the time. That's how I got into music. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was going to lead right into what you're talking about. After that, you wound up going into, you got your first organ, you took piano lessons at the age of 6. By the age of 15, you were forming your own band or starting your own professional career. I got to ask you, what is the name of your first band?
It was the Techniques, before Jay and the Techniques.
Oh, really? Seriously? All right. Very good.
We had 3 lead guitar players. I was one of them. I was playing guitar at that time. Anyway, our first gig was at. So we played for 2 pitchers of root beer and Coke, and we got some pizza. And the groupies there were from La Habra High, but I didn't have a car, so we bombed out. We couldn't do anything. We took turns doing Limited Marquettes, Pipeline, and Wipeout, and all those other tunes without a drummer. So that was my first gig. The Techniques.
Wipeout and Pipeline without a drummer. Without that, jeez.
Exactly. Without a drummer. You trying to do Wipeout? No, maybe we didn't do that song live. Not that one, because I don't think it works out too good.
Well, he evolved, folks. He's out. He's got new music. A great song called "Cry to Me" was released earlier this year. It's a take on the 1962 Solomon Burke story. Why did you decide to cover this particular song, Ter?
I have a friend, a female friend, that told me about that song. She's had some really good ideas for tunes that I do, ballads and different things. And I've never heard that tune. And Solomon Burke, wow, what a singer! I started listening to all of his tunes, so that's what got me interested in doing that song. And then I heard a couple other people do the tune, and I said, you know what, I'll give it a shot. So that's why I did that.
All right, I'm going to play it right now. Here's "Cry to Me" from today's Someone You Should Know podcast guest, Terry Lawrence.
When your baby leaves you all alone and nobody call you on the phone, don't you feel like a crying? Don't you feel like crying? Yeah. Here I am, honey. Come on, you cry to me. When you're all alone in your lonely room, and there's nothing but the smell of the perfume. such a waste of time. Whoa, yeah. You don't ever have to walk alone. You see, come on, take my hand, and baby, won't you walk with me? Whoa, yeah. When you waited for the voice to come in the night when there's no one, don't you feel like a crying? Don't you feel like crying? Don't you feel like crack, 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 yeah. Don't you feel like crack, 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 yeah.
Cry to Me right there from today's Someone You Should Know podcast guest, Terry Lawrence. You're going to hear more great music from his album in just a bit. But before we continue, I want to tell you about our Someone You Should Know podcast. We're on the World Wide Web at SomeoneYouShouldKnowPodcast.com. There you're going to find recent news, our archive of past episodes. And if you happen to be visiting, we invite you to go ahead and leave us a comment. We are so blessed. I found out that we're reaching over 1,700 cities around the world in 80 countries. Today, I want to salute a couple of new additions: San Bernardino, California, Council Bluffs, Iowa, and Patna in India. Thanks for listening. We do appreciate it. The Someone You Should Know podcast, heard wherever streaming audio is available. And back to our interview with Terry Lawrence. Now, Terry, you've had the opportunity to share the stage with many wonderful musicians. I mentioned a couple in the opener: Bill Medley, Ike and Tina Turner, Little Richard, Jose Feliciano, Donnie Brooks, The Platters, Bo Diddley, the great Louis Prima, just to name a few. What were some of your favorite moments in performing with these wonderful people?
I was performing with the Coasters and the Drifters as when we were playing at Cinnamon Cinder in Long Beach. The guys were funny. They had a very spontaneous and everything. Some of that was fun working with some of these people back then. Darlene Love of the Blossoms, all these people. Just the camaraderie on stage. With the eye contact and the humor and everything. The people were just wonderful, and worked with. Ike and Tina, it's just Little Richard was I shared the stage with him in Hollywood, Florida, with a group I was in, but it was just it was wonderful, just playing with different people. I played with Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels not long ago. We did for a week. I think we were down in Florida, and I got some nice keyboards and played there. It was wonderful playing all those tunes. Plus, he had a lot of originals and stuff like that. I think the highlights were back in '70, I got a chance to play. Bill Medley was managing a group I was in, and we played opposite Louis Prima, Sam Butera, and the Witnesses, and they were fabulous. I mean, just back and forth. I mean, Keeley wasn't with them, but just every night going back and forth, and we play one set, they'd play another set. Years later, I was at the Aladdin Hotel playing. We brought the lead singer of the Letterman up on stage and sang with us. I've played with Jose Feliciano and the Fearsome Foursome, the football team, the Butkus.
Rosie Greer, yeah.
Rosie Greer, yeah, they were great. And, I a concert opposite War. They were good.
I love War, yeah.
I was in the 80s, and let's see, who else? El Chicano. I played Trini Lopez at Don Ricardo's in Century City back in the 76. And Ralph Mathis, Johnny Mathis's son, his brother, and his wife, and did that. And then I was in this group I went in. Our drummer, actually, when the group broke up, he went with Johnny Mathis. He was a drummer in the 70s with Denise Williams and Johnny Mathis. So he ended up playing with them for a number of years.
Wonderful.
So I met a lot of people. I played a lot of gigs, concerts, and gigs, did a tour backing up, or actually playing with Bill Medley's group and everything, and playing on the road in Florida, sharing the stage with the Riddler of The Joker, which Frank Gorshin, the comic, and
really? Seriously, wow.
The Judy Lynn Band, a lot of different people.
Very cool.
Just brings back so many memories. So yeah, it's been a nice career. I'm still playing too, and I do cocktail.
And it's nice to continue to get accolades. You wound up getting one just a couple of years ago. The single you released called "Statue of a Fool," a song that you performed. It was written by Jan Crutchfield. The song reached #1 on the Airplay Express Traditional Country Top 20 chart in August of 2021, qualifying you for a Platinum Disc Award from Airplay Express. What's your thoughts on that accomplishment?
Well, that had the most downloads from disc jockeys and requests for the couple of weeks and everything, and it was I was very happy with that because Ricky Van Shelton came up with that tune and it was great, But I thought I'd do put my feeling to it and everything, so I was very happy with that. I've had a number of platinum for different tunes I've done with Airplay Express. It was really. Coming out with a country tune like that and everything, getting platinum award was fantastic. It felt really good. I got a lot of hits on that one, but I do like that song. It's just at the end it goes up high, and it builds to a crescendo. It's really a good tune.
Well,
excellent tune.
We're actually going to hear it next, as a matter of fact. "Statue of a Fool" right now on the Someone You Should Know podcast with today's podcast guest, Terry Lawrence.
Just let him stand there all alone. And there on his face, gold tears to be placed to honor the million tears he's cried, and the hurt in his eyes would show, so everyone would know that conceit is a broken heart inside. So build me a statue, hey Lord, build it high, so I can see. Then inscribe on railway schools and maybe after me.
Terry Lawrence and "Statue of a Fool," a song featured on the most recent album called Classis Hits. I want this next section here. So you've been performing since you were a kid, and you've done your share of load-ins and load-outs as far as that goes. Next section is called Tales from the Road. These are those infamous road stories where things didn't go quite as planned. You get to your gig and you plug in and the fuse blows, or you get there and you realize that your amp won't turn on, or you realize you're at the wrong gig or something like that. What would you say would be Terry Lawrence's Tales from the Road?
One of them wasn't that bad. I mean, we're doing this song in Hollywood, Florida. Well, we were doing a song without a song or something like that. Chris Morgan was our lead singer, and we were doing it, and all of a sudden, something happened with the power. It went out and everything. We had to, and we're sitting like this. And, we had Led Zeppelin in the audience. We had Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, who we had come and take a bow and everything. They heard that, and they were just sitting there, and everybody was going like that, dead silence. And we just started the song over again. So it was very embarrassing. But, I mean, just a lot of people. This is where we were playing back-to-back weekly with Little Richard and Ike and Tina. We were the second act. They were the first act. The other nightmare was the worst. On the way back from that gig, we had a 5x8 U-Haul trailer holding all the equipment and my 300-pound B3 organ with a 150-pound Leslie in it. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, the weight wasn't quite right. We're driving to go back home from Florida to California, and the car starts jackknifing, and it's going all over the freeway. We thought we were going to hit the overpass and everything. It's very scary, and then we stopped on the side, and then we started again, and it kept doing it. We thought we were going to crash, and so we got out. We took a picture of it. I still have a picture of it. I'll send it to you, of all of us out and just frustrated and sitting there in by the side of the road with all the equipment, taking it out, redistributing the equipment, and then putting it back in. That was so scary. We joked around about it, but it was my 1968 Temple of Salmons with that trailer hitch and everything. And boy, we're so lucky that we were able to set it right and not have that problem. I didn't think we were going to make it home. We were going to have to do something else. So that was the worst of the worst.
Oh, jeez. I had heard a story from a friend of ours. They were actually, it was another trailer story. They had a good-sized trailer that they were hauling too. He had a Suburban. They're going down a hill, and all of a sudden the brakes are gone. And this hill happens to dump out right there at the Mississippi River. This is up in Grafton, Illinois. So they wind up coming down this hill, going through this road. Luckily, there was a police officer who happened to see what was going on. And he said he remembered seeing the trailer going past him, as they got to the bottom of the hill. That's one of those.
Yeah, oh, by the way,
that's one of those stories. And you plug in, and all of a sudden the power goes out. Another guest I had on, this is back when you had a lot of the programmable keyboards, as far as that goes. You'd set your programs and stuff like that. But if you lose power, you have to reset all those things. Well, they were playing their very first song, was the big hit and everything like that. And all of a sudden, the arena lost power for just a second. But it was long enough to reset the keyboards, everything else on stage. So he said it did not sound anything like the original song. So
I guess not. Oh, my God.
Okay. Boy. Terry, I want people to know a little bit more about you and everything like that. How about links to your social media? What's a good way to find more information about you?
Okay, my website is terrylawrencemusic.com. It's tied to Spotify also. Okay. I've got that. You can look at some things. I don't have any videos uploaded there, but I have some interviews and pictures and different information about me and my history. Also, I'm on Spotify. I've been for years, for about 11 years, 12 years. I'm on iTunes. I'm on Amazon. I've got my albums and individual songs on there. I've got 5 albums. I'm on Napster 2, Pandora. A lot of my the movies I have are, like I said, that's on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can still see a lot of my tunes and stuff like that on YouTube also. Spotify, you can download all my tunes and everything, and iTunes and all the other. So that's where they can find me, basically. And I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. I've got a Facebook page. There's also a Terry Lawrence that's a gorilla, but I wouldn't. That's not me. I couldn't believe that picture. Mug of a gorilla, Terry Lawrence. I go, no, what happened? No. So I'm on there.
What I'll do is I'll include an IMDb link also that has a listing of everything you've been on too, so that'll help there too.
Cool.
Everything will be down in the show notes, so if anyone's driving in the car right now and trying to write this down, I apologize. It's down in the show notes, so when you get to work, it'll be a lot safer. Just get that information then. How about some final thoughts, Terry, we should know about you that we don't know about you?
Well, let's see. I am now for the last month and a half, 2 months. No, actually 2 months. I've been a DJ for a Oldies and More Radio with Joe T. He's Joe T's Soda Shop. I've known him for years. He used to play all my songs. He still does. And Oldies and More Radio. So they're throughout the United States and the world, a lot of different, such as your radio station. So I've been being a DJ for Mondays and Wednesdays. So it's fun. I've got a lot of the songs from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I talk about my acting experience on there sometimes, or I'll play some of my tunes. What else can I say about myself? I recently, about 3 or 4 years, moved down to near Palm Springs here. It's just great. I've been retired for about 11 or 12 years, but I still play and perform out here. A nice pad over here at the Indian Palms Country Club. I'm just enjoying it. I've got my grand piano here. I'm writing some music. So I do gigs. I do singles. I'm still recording. I'm working on my 6th album. I haven't had any calls to do any acting in years, but I guess
we'd like for you to revitalize your role in Trooper Hook. Terry, the final song we're going to feature is a Skyliners classic, Since I Don't Have You. Now, this is weird because this song has been covered from artists like Don McLean and Ronnie Milsap to Guns N' Roses, and you decided to do it to what's your story on the treatment of this classic?
Well, I used to sing that song when I was younger in the back, just on a road listening to it. And I thought, someday maybe that song. And I thought I could do a good job on it and everything. I always liked it. And so I thought I'd give it a go. That was a great 1959. It was a great tune. The Skyliners, just everybody loves that tune. That's why I wanted to do it.
Very good. I think you're going to love it too, folks, whoever's listening. And we do thank you so much for doing so. We're listening to Terry Lawrence today, and I hope you get a chance to check out his music. Everything, again, is in the show notes. And Terry, man, it's been a treat to have you on. We wish you well for the holiday season. And thanks so much for being a new member of the family here on the Somebody You Should Know podcast.
Right on. Thank you, Rick. I enjoyed it immensely. Great enjoying being company with you and everything. It was wonderful, fun, fantastic being on your show. And everybody have a great one. And we're looking forward to the holidays. And thanks again, Rick. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Since I don't have you, I don't have fond desires, and I don't have happy hours. I don't have anything since I don't have you. I don't have happiness, and I guess I never will again. When you walked out on me in walked on misery, and it's been here since then.
Hi, this is Rick Anthony, thanking you again for tuning in to this episode of the Someone You Should Know podcast. Before I go, I want to share some friends of mine who also have a podcast. Give them a listen, and I invite you to check us out next time right here on the Someone You Should Know podcast. All right, here's my friends right now from the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Hey, everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And this is Hollywood Mike
with the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast, coming to you from the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66 in Joliet, Illinois.
Where once a week we are interviewing local musicians and singer-songwriters. And the podcast itself covers a wide range of topics, including, but not limited to, the history of rock and roll in Chicago, the current state of the scene, and the challenges and opportunities facing musicians today.
So join us every Tuesday for a new exciting episode of the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.